Welcome to this webinar for workers in the District of Columbia. My name is Nicola Nabeljuris, and on behalf of First Shift Justice Project, I look forward to sharing information with you about DC paid family leave benefits when you are caring for a family member with a serious health condition. First Shift Justice Project empowers workers to assert their workplace rights. First Shift provides free counseling and legal support to workers related to pregnancy, illness, and caregiving, ranging from one-time consultations to full representation. We also support medical providers with free consultations and trainings. Today's presentation is informational and is not legal advice. We encourage you to contact First Shift by phone, email, or via our online form for legal help, as every situation is different. From this presentation, you will learn what are paid family leave benefits, when are you eligible to receive them, and how can you apply for them. First, your workplace rights depend on where you work, not where you live or where your family member receives medical treatment. This presentation addresses the rights of people who work in the District of Columbia. People who work in DC have rights under DC law, even if they live in Maryland or Virginia. As long as you work in DC, you can receive paid family leave benefits to care for family members, even if they live in another state or country. People miss work to care for loved ones when they are sick, injured, or have medical appointments. When someone misses work, at least two things are critically important. First, as a worker, you need job-protected leave. This means that when your family member is better, you can come back to work and still have a job. Laws that provide workers job-protected leave make sure you don't get fired for missing work. Second, as a worker, you need monetary benefits. This means you need some sort of money or income in order to pay your bills. Laws and workplace policies that provide benefits make sure you have some sort of income while you miss work. This presentation assumes you have already received permission from your employer to take job-protected leave. Call a First Shift lawyer for a free consult or check out our resources page to learn more about job-protected leave. DC has a law requiring employers to provide paid sick time, but it's extraordinarily limited. Workers can take a paid sick day to care for family members with a health condition or to take them to a medical appointment. The law requires employers to give 3 to 7 paid sick days per year, depending on how big the business is. Your job is protected when you take a paid sick day, meaning your employer can't fire you for missing work. You should tell your employer 10 days in advance or as soon as possible in unexpected situations. For workers caregiving for family members with a serious health condition, these days are often used up quickly. DC's paid family leave benefits are monetary payments from the government you can receive when you miss work in order to replace paychecks you would have received if you were working. These benefits only replace your wages. They do not provide job protection. It's important that you make sure you have legal rights to job protection, like under the federal or DC Family Medical Leave Act. Contact a First Shift lawyer to answer questions about job protection. These benefits are intended for when you are caregiving for a family member with a serious or severe illness or injury. For example, if your family member has cancer or needs surgery, paid family leave benefits are most appropriate. To caregive for 1 or 2 days for a minor illness like a cold or strep throat, you may be entitled to paid sick days from your employer. Call First Shift to learn more. The DC government has a broad definition of family member, but it still may not reflect all family situations. If you work in DC, you can receive benefits when caring for the following family members: your spouse or partner, if you're related by marriage or domestic partnership; your child, including any child you care for in place of their parent; your parent, your grandparent, and your siblings. This includes any of these family relationships that are biological, adoptive, step, or by marriage, such as a parent-in-law or a foster sibling. This list doesn't include all of the nuanced relationships that you may have. Call First Shift if you have questions about your eligibility. The DC government has a broad definition of what is a serious health condition. Here are some examples. Any condition that made your family member spend 1 or more days in the hospital or a treatment center, such as for an infection or a severe injury. Illnesses or injuries where your family member can't go to work or school for more than 3 days, or they need ongoing care by a medical provider, such as a broken bone or a disease with a long recovery. Any condition that requires surgery or treatment from a medical provider, such as chemotherapy or reparative surgery. Chronic conditions that require medical care and your family member sometimes can't work or go to school, like a flare-up of diabetes or depression. And pregnancy. If your family member has a serious health condition, there are several different situations when you can receive benefits while caring for them. Examples include when you miss work to care for a family member who is recovering from an illness or injury, to care for a family member when they receive ongoing treatments for an illness or injury, to accompany a family member attending regular appointments or counseling sessions related to their condition, and to accompany a family member attending therapy appointments. It's important to note that you cannot receive paid family leave benefits for taking a family member to regular or preventative medical appointments, like annual pediatrician visits or dental cleanings. You can receive benefits if these appointments are related to an underlying health condition. You may be able to take paid sick days for routine or preventative appointments. In order to apply for paid family leave benefits, your family member's medical provider must fill out a medical certification form. A medical provider is any licensed healthcare provider treating your family member. Sometimes it can be hard to get in touch with medical providers, or they take a long time to complete paperwork, so ask as soon as you can. For unexpected illnesses or injuries, ask the medical provider to complete the form as soon as possible. Your benefits might be delayed or denied if you wait too long to apply. For chronic conditions, talk with your family member's medical provider about completing a form periodically if you are intermittently caregiving. If your family member lives in another state or country, it may be more challenging for the medical provider to complete this form. Out-of-town providers are less familiar with DC's benefit program, might need the form in a different language, or might be harder to communicate with from a distance. Contact First Shift if you need additional support. You will likely need additional documentation to make sure your employer holds your job for you. Here are some helpful tips for applying for DC paid family leave benefits. Notify your employer at least 10 days before you miss work or as soon as possible. You will need your family member's medical provider to complete forms. These will be different than the medical forms you need for job-protected leave. Your employer must provide information about paid family leave benefits to you, but the DC government decides if you receive them and in what amount. You can combine benefits from the government and your employer. Apply to the DC government's Office of Paid Family Leave after you have a reason to miss work and before you take time off. If you are already on leave, apply as soon as possible because you can't get benefits for leave taken more than 30 days before your application. You may be allowed to take job-protected leave by the hour, like for medical appointments, but you can only receive paid family leave benefits by the day. For more details, check out First Shift's resource page with information about applying for benefits. You will receive benefit payments approximately 1 to 4 weeks after you miss work and applied for benefits. Paid family leave benefits may replace up to 90% of your salary. It's possible that you might receive less than 90% of your salary because there is a cap to the benefits amount, which changes annually. The paid family leave benefits payment schedule is every other week. This schedule might be behind or different than your usual paycheck. You can choose to receive these benefits either through direct deposit into your bank account or through a prepaid debit card. Each situation is different. Here are some questions a First Shift staff member might ask you to determine if you are eligible for DC paid family leave benefits and how much you will receive. What is the general reason you are missing work? How are you related to the family member that you are caring for? For how long do you plan to miss work? How long have you worked in DC? How many hours per week do you work in DC? How long have you received your current salary? Have you received paid family leave benefits before? A First Shift lawyer can also help determine if you are eligible for job-protected leave. A reminder that it's critically important to have both job-protected leave and monetary benefits, but it's very possible that the laws would provide you with one and not the other. Even if your employer holds your job, it doesn't help if you can't pay your bills without a paycheck. And if you receive benefits from the DC government when you miss work, that doesn't help if you were fired when you were away from work. Every situation is different. Contact First Shift Justice Project to speak with a lawyer about your situation. Thank you so much for learning more about paid family leave benefits when you are caregiving for a family member. We hope this information is helpful to you if you work in DC. If you have questions or you would like legal advice from First Shift about your specific situation, please contact us. Email intake@firstshift.org. Call our intake line at 202-644-9043 or fill out our web intake form. Thank you, and please watch our other webinars for more information.